We've just experienced the most consequential 24 hours in American foreign policy in a generation. This morning, the President of the United States posted to Truth Social. No press conference, no White House briefing, just a calm, deliberate declaration that stopped the world cold. Iran caved, and they are complying with every single one of Trump's demands. And with that, the war was effectively over. The Dow exploded. The NASDAQ surged. Oil, which had been sitting at $117 a barrel just 24 hours ago, came crashing down. And the whole world just watched Donald Trump pull off what the legacy media swore was impossible. Stick them to the very end of this video because I'm going to break down exactly how this happened, why China was the secret key that unlocked Iran's surrender, and what Trump's post this morning really means for the future of the Middle East and indeed the world. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, are you looking for deeper access to me and my analysis beyond YouTube? Join the Courageous Patriots Club for members-only content and exclusive updates. Scan the QR code or grab the link in the pinned comments below. I'll see you there. Let's start with the numbers because the markets don't lie. U.S. crude oil plummeted by over 15% overnight, settling around $95 a barrel, a stunning collapse after it had been trading as high as $117 on Tuesday. That's a massive historic single-day drop. At the same time, S&P 500 futures surged more than 2%. The Dow soared over 1,100 points, a 2.5% gain, and NASDAQ 100 futures rocketed up 3.5%. Futures on the Russell 2000 jumped 3.8%. Natural gas, wholesale gasoline, heating oil, all down sharply. What does that tell you? It tells you that the global financial system was pricing in a catastrophic, prolonged conflict in the Middle East. And Trump just took that risk off the table overnight. The market is not political. The market is not ideological. The market is cold, hard reality. And reality just gave Donald Trump a standing ovation. Now, as I'm sure you all know, this time yesterday, the far-left legacy media, as well as the panicking podcasters, the MAGA turncoats, they were all accusing Trump of crimes against humanity and preparing to nuke the entire nation of Iran. Trump had set a hard deadline, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or face the single most devastating series of strikes the world has ever seen. And so there was nothing short of a fake news frenzy that accused Trump of being mentally unhinged. He's wanting to blow up the world, and we needed to invoke the 25th and remove him from office. And then, literally, at the 11th hour, around 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Iran blinked. The regime that said that they would rather die than ever make a deal with the great Satan caved. President Trump just posted this, quote, "The United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will, working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance. Thank you, Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter." We're now learning that behind the scenes, Iran blinked largely because another player entered the arena, and that's China, their chief benefactor, their chief financier. While Pakistan was at the forefront of brokering a peace deal, it was actually China that played a decisive last-minute role in convincing Iran to accept the ceasefire proposal. And this is the ironic This is all in the ironic shadow of China loudly vetoing UN Security Council resolutions that would have opened up the Strait of Hormuz. As it turns out, China privately had picked up the phone and told Tehran, enough. It's over. Stand down. So now we know why China voted against that resolution that would have opened up the Strait of Hormuz. They were already working their magic behind the scenes. Remember, China imports over 80% of Iran's oil exports, often at deeply discounted rates. Chinese officials reportedly warned that if the conflict continued, especially with threats to energy infrastructure, the economic consequences in China would be catastrophic. Their Belt and Road empire, their manufacturing machine, their entire economic model runs on cheap, stable energy. A prolonged war with $120 a barrel oil was going to blow a hole right through Beijing's economic plan. So China did what China always does. It calculated its interests and it acted. And Iran, which had already watched its nuclear infrastructure get pulverized, its IRGC commanders get systematically eliminated, and its Mosaic defense activate like a dead hand firing on autopilot, Iran took the exit ramp. And as a result, as of today, oil's at $95. The Dow's up over 1,000 points. Iran's nuclear program is in the dirt where the bunker busters buried it. And the President of the United States just posted the most triumphant Truth Social post in the history of that platform. That's not chaos. That is a flawless execution. That's a win. And it's a bigger win than anyone could have ever imagined. And I'm going to show you exactly why. While Trump unleashes a political reckoning, there is another crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form, even in the comfort of our own homes. I'm talking about the microplastic epidemic. Now, you may have heard about this, but this is pretty shocking stuff. Check this out.
White ones, we've got clear ones.
Tons of microplastics wash ashore all over the world every day. And now for the first time, scientists in the Netherlands have detected microplastic pollution in human blood.
All the microplastics and nanoplastics we are exposed to, we inhale and we ingest, that actually, there's so much plastic that it can even enter our bloodstream.
The Dutch study on blood samples from healthy adults detected tiny plastic particles in 80% of people.
That's right. There's a microplastic crisis poisoning every American in some way, shape, or form. They're in our food, our water, our meats, our proteins. In fact, according to a recent study, we now ingest 6 times more microplastics than in 1990. It's wreaking havoc on our health and on our organ functions, and unfortunately, no one is immune from this. But there is an amazing solution. There's a unique bacterial strain found only in kimchi that's been found to effectively degrade microplastics. In fact, traditional kimchi is one of the world's most powerful superfoods. But let's be honest, it's messy, it's strong smelling, and not exactly easy to eat every single day. So that's why our good friends over at Brightcore created Kimchi One. Now you can get all the benefits of premium fermented kimchi in convenient capsule form. No mess, no taste, no hassle. I've been taking Kimchi One every single day for months now, and gang, I love it. Each capsule delivers over 900 probiotic strains, live enzymes, and antioxidants that help restore balance in your gut. People are seeing improvements in digestion, bloating, regularity, energy, metabolism. Studies show that kimchi even reduces the risk of obesity. Kimchi One is all natural, non-GMO, and 100% made right here in the USA. It's completely dairy-free, gluten-free, soy-free, so just anyone could take it. I personally love it, and I love knowing that I'm supporting my gut and overall health in one simple step. So if you've been looking for a way to boost your immune system and remove microplastic toxins from your body, this is it. You can get 25% off your order by going to the link below, or for an even better deal, give them a call. My friends at Brightcore would love to chat with you, and they're going to give you 50% off plus free shipping. Call them at 888-597-0233. The first 100 callers to order are going to get a free bottle of vitamin D3. Again, you only get that 50% off and free shipping when you give them a call. So once again, that number is 597-0233. What's absolutely essential to understand in this 2-week ceasefire is that the Iranian regime is literally falling apart as we speak, and President Trump knows this. Every week that goes by, Iran's regime gets weaker. Waiting 2 weeks to possibly resume the bombing campaign will only result in a stronger, replenished U.S. military and a proportionately weaker regime. That's the biggest mistake that so many analysts are making right now. A lot of the commentariat are claiming that Iran's going to use this time to rebuild and strengthen and get their forces back. What forces? Seriously, what? Rebuild with what? All their manufacturing has been blown to smithereens. You see, what many analysts don't get, unfortunately, is that the regime was already hanging on by a thread before the first bomb dropped. Again, we talked about this in yesterday's video, but it's vital to get. The massive protests that erupted back in January were sparked by the abysmal economic conditions inside Iran. The rial has lost 20,000% of its value since 1979. Inflation right now is at over 40%. There's an unprecedented water crisis where 90% of their aquifers have dried up. The Bazari, the merchant class, it's indispensable to Iran's economy, shut down their shops in protest against a massive tax hike imposed upon them by the Iranian parliament. This was all before a single bomb dropped. Can you imagine what it's going to be like now? The conditions are 1,000 times worse for the regime. The economy is in shambles beyond what it was in January, and the regime itself is weaker than it's ever been over the last 47 years. The supreme leader gone. All of their IRGC leadership gone. Basij checkpoints have been abandoned all over Iran's cities for fear that they'll be blown up by Israeli drones. Their ability to project power and thus fear has been decimated both abroad and at home. And so it's only a matter of time before the regime collapses. Remember, again, we talked about this yesterday. Iran's regime rests on 3 pillars, and all 3 pillars are cracking simultaneously. Pillar 1 is their ideology. Right? The Islamic Republic's entire claim to legitimacy is that it governs in God's name forever against the great Satan America. But a senior member of Iran's own assembly of experts, the body that selects the supreme leader, he publicly admitted that 50,000 of Iran's 75,000 mosques have closed. 2/3 of the country's houses of worship have been shuttered, not from bombs, not from sanctions, but from Iranians who have simply stopped going. Generation after generation are voting with their feet. The Gaman Institute surveys, the most comprehensive polling of Iranian public opinion ever conducted, found 85 to 90% of Iranians consistently oppose this regime. The founding ideology is dead. Pillar 1 has collapsed. Pillar 2 is their patronage system, and this is key. The entire Iranian system works because loyalists get paid. So when the money stops, the loyalty stops. You've got to get that. When the money stops, the loyalty stops. When the money dries up, so does the loyalty. The rial has already collapsed to 1.5 million per dollar. Inflation has hit over 42%. IRGC and Basij troops haven't been paid in months. Pillar 2 is fracturing. And then finally, Pillar 3, which is coercion. And this is where the current war enters the picture. So back in 2019 and 2022, when you saw the last massive uprisings on the streets in Tehran and other cities, the Basij crushed those uprisings because the Basij were intact and they were feared. They had the ability to project power. Today, the IRGC's command structure has been systematically decimated. Their navy, gone. Their air defenses, gone. The regime is reportedly putting 12-year-olds at militia checkpoints. That's not a coercive apparatus. That's a death rattle. That's weakness personified. Pillar 3 is being demolished from the outside so that the Iranian people can finish the job from the inside. So what we've got to understand is that it wouldn't matter if Trump gave the regime 2 weeks or 2 months. It wouldn't have mattered. They are imploding. They are falling apart. And it really is only a matter of time. Trump won. The regime and its pathetic apologists among the legacy media and the panicking podcasters have decisively lost.